Heavenly signs revealed. You are in a divine timeline shift. Follow these 7 miracle steps now. In the quaint English town of Meadowfield, whispers of hope and heavenly signs filled the air like fragrant blooms on a spring morning. Mary, a devoted parishioner, sat in her favorite pew at St. Michael's Chapel, her heart pumping with urgency as she listened to the pastor's impassioned words. Divine intervention awaits those who cling to unwavering faith. The crowd nodded, eyes gleaming with intensity, eager for the miraculous promises unfolding before them. As her thoughts drifted to Peter, her beloved husband battling terminal illness, doubt crept in like an unwelcome shadow. The community around her buzzed with compassion, enveloping her in warmth, yet the gnawing fear of loss rattled her insides. Just days prior, she'd felt an otherworldly chill enveloping her, a sensation as if an angel's wings brushed against her face, igniting a flicker of confidence. In that moment, Mary resolved to follow the 7 miracle steps outlined in an ancient prayer journal. Each step was a beacon of hope yet to be navigated amidst the storm of despair. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Mary took a deep breath, her spirit charged with renewed strength. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let us continue. That evening, after a solemn visit to Peter in the dim hospital room, Mary returned home, tears rolling down her cheeks. With trembling hands, she opened the journal. Each line emitted a glow, the ink shimmering as if it held divine secrets. Surrounded by silence, she recited the first miracle steps aloud. She felt enveloped in warmth, an inexplicable peace washing over her, igniting a fire within her heart. But the world outside, filled with whispers of skepticism, constantly tugged at her faith. Despite the doubts of friends urging her to face the reality of Peter's condition, Mary pressed on. She attended the community healing service, her heart racing with anticipation. That night, the chapel lit up with hope. Murmurs cascaded like music, prayers floated like bright stars ascending into the night. Then it happened. A fellow parishioner, once wheelchair-bound, stood and stepped forward. Gasps rippled through the congregation as she spoke, her voice clear and triumphant, declaring her miracle of healing. The atmosphere crackled with electric charge, faith igniting in every heart present. Mary felt the burden of doubt lift reluctantly, replaced by a powerful urge to share her tale of hope. She watched as tears of joy cascaded down the faces of her friends. This was real. This was possible. As she walked home under the dim light of the street lamps, her heart raced toward an uncertain future. The weight of her prayers felt lighter now, yet the questions lingered in the shadowy corners of her mind. Would her unwavering faith lead to her husband's healing? Or was a different divine plan unfolding altogether? A single thought echoed in the depths of her soul. Could this be just the beginning of a profound testimony waiting to be revealed? Mary awoke the next morning with the sun pouring through her window, casting warm rays that danced on her walls. There was a new boldness in her spirit. The events of the previous evening echoed in her mind, painting her heart with vibrant colors of hope. She had witnessed a miracle, and she believed, deep down, that more awaited her. With renewed determination, Mary began her day by reciting the second step from the prayer journal, an invocation of gratitude. She closed her eyes, inhaling deeply, and let gratitude spill from her heart like a waterfall. For every moment with Peter, for the love they shared, for the community that rallied around them, she poured forth her thankful praises. The heaviness she had felt in her chest started to dissipate, replaced by a lightness as if the very air around her was buoying her spirit. Later, she slipped into her best dress, the one Peter always told her she looked beautiful in. With a small smile, she realized it was time to visit him again. She grabbed the prayer journal and her favorite necklace, a simple cross that had belonged to her mother. As she left the house, she paused at the door, whispering a prayer of protection and hope over her journey. The hospital room smelled like antiseptic and uncertainty, yet to Mary, it felt like holy ground. His frail figure lay still, but as she approached, she noticed a faint rise and fall of his chest, a rhythm she found comforting. Sitting beside him, she placed her hand over his, praying fervently for healing. "Peter, I witnessed something last night," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. She recounted the miraculous healing of their friend, the palpable faith in the chapel that transcended the very air they breathed. She shared the warmth that filled her heart, the conviction that healing was possible, not just for her friend, but for him too. As she spoke, she could swear she saw a flicker of recognition in his eyes. Could he feel the spark of hope? Mary's heart raced at that thought. Perhaps deep down, he too was holding on to belief. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing moment, Mary diligently followed the steps she discovered. She became a frequent visitor at the chapel, engaged deeply with the community, praying, sharing her story, and receiving others' encouragement. The healing service had reignited a fire in the parish. The air was thick with anticipation of divine intervention. However, amidst the growing hope, shadows of doubt crept in. Speculation about the timing of miracles swirled in her mind. Why had Peter not yet shown signs of recovery? Friends would encourage her, yet their sympathetic glances often betrayed their true thoughts. She wrestled with her own fears, wondering if she was asking too much of God. The question lingered in her heart: was she clinging to faith or living in denial? During a particularly challenging evening, she turned to the third step of the journal, faith action. This step urged believers to act as if their prayers were already answered. Inspired, Mary decided to organize a prayer vigil at St. Michael's, inviting everyone to unite their faith in prayer for Peter. As she prepared the details, excitement and apprehension bubbled within her. Would this gathering lead to miracles? Would her husband feel the collective love, the fervent prayers? That night, standing before candles flickering softly in the dim chapel, Mary sensed something profound about to unfold. The nervous hum of the crowd filled her. She sensed the heaviness of anticipation in the air, as if their united faith had taken form. But a sudden thought pierced through the din: what if the true miracle was already at hand, waiting to be revealed in an unexpected way? The moment of truth loomed ahead. The chapel felt alive that night, a sacred space buzzing with anticipation. The soft glow of candles flickered as if responding to the heartfelt whispers of hope in the room. Mary stood there, her hands clasped tightly, her heart racing. She felt a trembling energy in the air, as if heaven itself was leaning down, eager to hear the prayers rising like sweet incense. In the center of the room, she began to speak, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "Thank you all for coming," she said, and the crowd hushed, their eyes focused on her. "Tonight, we gather not just to pray for Peter, but to connect with each other, to lift our spirits, and to unleash our faith together." As she spoke, she invited each person to share their own burdens, their own miracles. One by one, hearts opened. Stories flowed, weaving together a tapestry of struggles and triumphs. Each voice echoed through the chapel, carrying with it the weight of hope and fear. A mother spoke of her son's illness, a man shared his battle with addiction, and a young girl bravely recounted her lost dreams. Each testimony brought tears, laughter, and a deep sense of unity. Amidst the sharing, Mary felt an overwhelming sense of divine presence. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows, and for a moment, she believed she could see angels among them, listening and waiting. As she looked around, she saw not just friends, but family spirits intertwined in a quest for healing. Then, she turned to the prayer journal, feeling its parchment soft beneath her fingers. With a heartfelt prayer, she led everyone in a moment of silent communion, encouraging them to speak their hopes to God. The chapel fell into an expectant hush. The silence deepened, thickening like a tangible mist suffused with divine promise. As she reopened her eyes, her gaze caught a glimmer from the tall stained glass windows, illuminated by the moonlight. Colors of red, blue, and gold filtered through, cascading onto the wooden bench where Peter usually sat. "Lord, we ask for miracles. We trust in your timing," she declared passionately, her voice rising with fervor. At that very moment, a soft gasp rippled through the crowd. Mary followed the gasps, her heart pounding. In the back of the chapel, she spotted a figure. A woman stood there, tears streaming down her face, holding up her hands. "I felt something." The woman cried out, her voice quivering. "What did you feel?" Mary asked, drawn towards her as others gathered around the woman, an energy building. It was warmth like a soft embrace, the woman breathed, her eyes wide with revelation. "I felt something lift from my heart, the weight of despair, it's gone." As the realization washed over the congregation, it felt as though the atmosphere itself shimmered with divine energy. Murmurs of similar experiences stirred among them. "I felt it too," cried another. "Last week, my pain vanished during prayer." Mary's heart leaped within her. Could it be? Could they all indeed share in a collective miracle? The flicker of possibility ignited into a flame of hope. Suddenly, she recalled the unending possibilities waiting in the unknown. What if God is leading us all to an even greater revelation? She suggested, her voice steady but filled with excitement. What if our united prayers break the chains, not just for Peter but for each one of us? A holy confidence surged through the room. With excitement brewing, Mary raised her hands, calling everyone to join her. The energy in the chapel shifted again, a harmonious choir of voices rising together in prayer. Hands were held up, hearts laid bare. But beneath this beautiful tapestry of shared faith, a lingering question pulsed what lay ahead for them all. Were they on the threshold of impending transformation, or were they meant to walk deeper into the mysteries of faith? The answer lingered in the soft glow of candles, urging them forward as they stood on the cusp of something miraculous. The moment felt electric, a divine promise hovering just beyond reach, waiting. The air in the chapel was filled with an undeniable electric energy. Hands upraised, the congregation leaned into the moment, their collective faith painting a tapestry of prayer that wrapped around each person like a comforting shawl. Mary felt it sweep through her, waves of warmth cascading over her spirit. Her heart beat in rhythm with the rising voices, each prayer a note in a heavenly symphony. As they prayed, the candle flames danced more vigorously, responding to the fervor of their hearts. The flickering light seemed to create a halo of illumination, casting gentle rays across the faces filled with hope and reverence. Each expression reflected the deep yearning for God's touch, the desperate need for miracles, and the whisper of faith that had awakened within them that night. "Together, we are stronger," Mary reminded them, a firm resolve in her voice. "Together, we heal." With those words, she felt an overwhelming urge to guide them deeper. "Let us invite the Spirit to reveal the wonders that are unfolding," she murmured, drawing their eyes inwards. What if in this moment, we each take a step toward that deeper revelation? As they closed their eyes, Mary weaved through the chapel, softly touching shoulders and offering quiet words of encouragement. She sensed an invisible essence that stirred in the air, the Holy Spirit moving among them like a gentle breeze. "Picture your burdens as stones," she instructed. "Hold them before you. Now, as we breathe, imagine each prayer lifting those stones away. Let them go into the hands of the one who can carry them." The peace that settled into the chapel was palpable. One by one, faces relaxed, and bodies softened. Sobs turned to sighs of relief, as if the very act of releasing those stones lightened their souls. A grandmother with silver hair whispered, "He is carrying me," while a teenager clasped his hands, eyes shining in revelation. "I can feel hope." Then, just as the murmurs of transformation settled, a brilliant burst of light illuminated the stained glass. Colorful reflections encircled the room, shimmering like each prayer was answered in living hues. Gasps filled the air once more, an involuntary response to the divine spectacle. "Look!" Mary exclaimed, astonished. "Is this not a sign? God is with us." The congregation felt their spirits soar. Faith once held quietly was lifting into jubilant expression. Then, from a dim corner, an elderly man stood. His voice, though trembling, rang clear. "I have seen such light in my life before, during the darkest nights. God is telling us our prayers are being heard." Just as he spoke, a gentle hush fell. The atmosphere shifted again, a tender reminder that the sacred is always whispering. Mary, grounding herself, sensed the gravity of the moment. What if miracles are not just for individuals but for our community? She called out, her voice vibrant with urgency. What if we are being drawn into a divine timeline shift? The weight of her words sank deep into the hearts of those gathered. Faces smiled, eyes glimmered brighter, full of the promise of change. They were not merely witnessing an event, they were participants in a holy ushering. A ripple of faith and vision spread, echoing through every soul present. Yet a question lingered, rich with potential. What did this divine timeline shift mean for each of them personally? As the candles flickered, casting shadows that danced, the answer felt just beyond their grasp, entwined with the promises they clung to. The night was not over, the journey was only beginning. As the hushed reverence enveloped the chapel, whispers started to bubble among the congregation like a gentle brook breaking over smooth stones. The stirring of the Spirit had left its echo in every heart, and there was a powerful yearning for clarity. Mary watched as individual faces lit up in contemplation, the flickering candlelight revealing not just hope, but a dawning understanding. "Can you feel it?" A young woman's voice broke through the silence. "It feels like we're being called to something greater." Mary nodded, her heart swelling at the realization of their shared awakening. It unfolded like petals opening towards the sun, each person shedding layers of doubt, fear, and weariness. "Yes, indeed," Mary proclaimed, stepping back into the center of their circle. "The light is illuminating our path. Perhaps these signs are more than mere moments, they reflect a new chapter unfolding for each of us together." She took a breath, feeling the weight of every soul present. Let us reflect deeply. What do we desire in our hearts? What do we hope to carry forth into this shift? A ripple of murmurs responded, soft yet electric, as they began to articulate their hopes aloud. Some longed for healing, others for reconciliation, and many sought strength to step into new opportunities. Each declaration built upon the last, a crescendo rising like the tide. Suddenly, bursts of laughter poured out from a group at the back. They were the youth, animated and eager, and in their delight, they echoed the joy that filled the chapel. Their carefree enthusiasm cut through the seriousness of the atmosphere, and it sparked a flicker of laughter in Mary's chest. Maybe one of them said, just maybe, God wants us to embrace this journey like an adventure. Miracles can happen when we approach life with joy and openness. Sparks of laughter ignited the room, and Mary felt the transformation. Joy had a way of weaving hope within despair, illuminating pathways that seemed lost. Before too long, the reverberations of laughter transitioned into an enthusiastic chant of yes that rang harmoniously within the walls. Mary closed her eyes for a moment, soaking in the unfiltered joy that swept through the gathering. A thought stirred in her heart. Let this be our foundation, she declared softly, that in our faith, we are free. Free to explore, free to trust, and free to embrace the miracle of today. The chapel, once steeped in solemnity, had shifted into a vibrant canvas of shared dreams. The spirit of unity flourished among them, creating an intricate web of connection, binding their energies as they explored this transformative moment together. Then, as if orchestrated by a divine conductor, the chapel was filled with an unexpected melody. Voices broke into spontaneous song, harmonizing praises as the energy of the place surged. Eyes sparkled, hands clutched one another, and hearts instinctively swayed to the rhythm of grace. Yet, amid the joy, an unshakable question emerged, laced with urgency and curiosity. How do we nurture this awakening? How do we allow it to ripple out beyond these walls? The congregants quieted once more, pondering the unknown, each heart sparked with anticipation. As they stood intertwined, the energy pulsated through them. They were on the brink of transformation, but the journey required direction. What steps would they take to embrace this divine timeline shift? With deep breaths and lively hearts, they turned toward Mary, waiting for her words to guide them through this unfolding mystery. The promise of the divine transformed the air. Together they were ready for revelation. It was only the beginning, but what came next would test their very faith. The anticipation hung thick in the air, like the sweet scent of blooming flowers after a rain. Mary felt the weight of their expectations settle upon her shoulders. It was a sacred moment, a tipping point where uncertainty could give birth to clarity. She opened her eyes and scanned the faces before her, each one a vessel of possibility. We begin with intention, she said softly, her voice steady. What we desire must be rooted in love and service. We have to ask ourselves, how can we extend the joy we've found within these walls into our daily lives? A murmur rippled through the chapel, some heads nodding in agreement. Slowly, the youth from the back expressed their thoughts again, voices spirited and unrestrained. Let us go beyond ourselves. Let us reach out to those who hurt. One shouted, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. Yes. Another added, a bold energy igniting in their spirits like a flame catching dry wood. There are so many who need to know they are loved, that they are seen. Mary felt her heart flutter. They were tapping into something deep and precious, a relentless current of compassion that surged through each of them. Tears brimmed in her eyes as she embraced this beautiful rawness. In turning outward, they weaved threads of divine purpose around their lives. Then, let us commit our hearts and hands to action, she urged, her excitement palpable. But first, we must find stillness, to listen well. We will pray, and in that sacred silence, allow God to reveal our steps. In unison, they drew near, hands clasping together, forming one heart as they bowed their heads. The air thickened with reverence, the sweet hum of unity draping over them. Out of the quiet emerged a prayer, a collective cry for guidance swift, heartfelt, and raw. Let us, Lord, Mary whispered, her spirit roused by the intensity of their devotion. Open our eyes to the unfolding journey. The chapel seemed to brighten, a golden glow enveloping every soul present. It was as though heaven had leaned in to embrace their sacred gathering. After a moment that felt both long and timeless, Mary carefully opened her eyes again, fueled by the warmth of hope filling the air. There was a stillness now, a profound understanding that every prayer had been heard. Yet a question lingered: how would they transform their intentions into tangible actions? From this moment, she said, a spark enlivening her voice, let us carry the light to those yearning for love. We will start right here, in our community, and then extend outwards. Excited murmurs cascaded through the group. Ideas flowed like a river, each suggestion washing over Mary and lifting her spirit higher. They spoke of visiting the elderly, sharing meals, and inviting strangers into their hearts. Planning kindness initiatives and prayer circles emerged as powerful motivators to step into their calling. Yet, as they stirred with creative fervor, there was a fleeting sense of doubt threading through the conversations. A hesitant voice broke through, but what if we fail? What if our efforts fall flat? In that moment of vulnerability, Mary held her breath. The fear of failure could easily stifle their blossoming mission, but it was then that she felt a push and inner resolve rising like a tidal wave of faith. Each step we take toward love is not in vain, she replied firmly, locking eyes with the anxious heart. Even in moments of struggle, we grow. Let the potential for transformation be our guide. We are vessels of grace. Each act of love can set off ripples in ways we cannot see. Fresh courage swept through the crowd as a sense of reassurance kindled in their hearts. They established their mission to walk boldly through the world, illuminating the shadows of doubt and loneliness. As their visions merged into one, Mary's spirit soared with this newfound determination. But deep down, an awareness flickered anew. What awaited them on this unveiled path? Challenges would surely arise, unveiling moments to test their commitment and their faith. The congregation now hovered upon the edge of an incredible journey, emboldened by the purpose they had unearthed together. As they crafted plans, they stood ready to embrace the unfolding narrative. The divine timeline was woven anew, rich with promise. Yet, a question danced in Mary's mind: what obstacles would they face as they ventured into the unknown? What would they learn about the depths of love they could share? Would they remain steadfast even when the paths grew steep? The excitement was palpable as they braced for the next steps ahead, each heart filled with the thrill of divine potential, ready to witness the world's transformation beginning with them. As they gathered their plans, a new energy surged among them, alive with purpose and ambition. They were ready to take the first steps beyond the familiar haven of the chapel. Mary felt an unyielding fire spark within her as she watched the youth's eyes shine. They were not just a group of friends, they were a movement, each soul ignited by the promise of love in action. Let us choose our first mission together, Mary suggested, excitement bubbling in her voice. Where can we make the largest impact? A young man from the front spoke up, his tone passionate. There's the local shelter. We could cook and share meals there. So many are hungry, not just for food but for connection. A chorus of agreement resonated, enthusiasm lighting up the room. The visions danced vividly in their minds. Mary could picture it now, tables adorned with simple meals, laughter drifting in the air, and the hearts of strangers coming alive, gathered around their love. Yes. Let us do it. Another chimed in, raising his fist in the air. We'll cook with intention, each dish served with a prayer for those who eat it. A warm wave of collective joy rippled through the gathering. But even in that moment of excitement, Mary could feel the subtle undercurrents of doubt lingering, like shadows on the edges of their enthusiasm. What if they don't appreciate what we bring? A quiet voice questioned, hesitantly woven into the excitement. Mary's heart ached at the vulnerability of that voice, a reminder of the human instinct to protect ourselves from the unknown. It's not about their response, she offered gently, but about sharing our hearts. We give because we love, not for applause. Love is always meaningful, even when it's met with silence. A profound silence fell over the group, thoughts swirling like autumn leaves. There was strength in understanding they could shine light simply by being present with others in their struggles. Mary could see heads lifting, hope rekindling within the sanctuary of their gathering. Suddenly, a warmth enveloped her, a divine presence whispering reassurance. It was as if God gently nudged her, reminding her of the miracles hidden within ordinary moments. Let us always remember to listen, Mary added softly, after all, that's where the heart's needs emerge. We'll know what action to take if we listen through the love we share. As conversations resumed, Mary noticed a gentle excitement unfolding, each person exchanging ideas and inspiration. They proposed not just meals but kindness bundles, clothes, toiletries, and handwritten notes reminding each recipient that they were cherished. Mary could feel her spirit lifting higher, connecting to the collective heartbeat of their mission. It felt like a sacred tapestry weaving together their plans, a radiant expression of divine purpose. Yet, amidst the fervor, she knew the winds of change would not come without their storms. Before we embark on our first mission, let us take time to pray, she suggested, calling for silence once more. The weight of their aspirations hung thick in the air as they bowed their heads, hearts swelling with anticipation. Lord, bless our intentions. Guide our hands as we serve those in need. Give us eyes to see your light in every face, and teach us resilience in the face of doubt, Mary prayed, and her words rose, a fragrant offering lifted to heaven. A stillness enveloped them, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. In the sacred hush, Mary sensed a shift in the atmosphere, a stirring of hope that transcended their own worries. Yet, even as they rose from prayer, a quiet question lingered in her heart. Would they have the strength to push through when challenges emerged? When doubt loomed larger than life itself, could they hold on to faith in each other? With the first step ahead of them illuminated by the warmth of community, they ventured into the unknown, leaving the chapel and stepping into the vivid tapestry of life. Mary glanced back one last time at the place that had nurtured their spirits and breathed in deeply, embracing the weight of the world beyond their walls. An exhilarating mix of joy and trepidation surged as they approached the doorway. What awaited them would not just test their resolve but also deepen the love that sparked between them. As they stepped into the vast expanse ahead, Mary held on to the hope unfurling like a banner in her heart. This was merely the beginning. Like seeds planted in rich soil, would their mission bear fruit? With every step into the world, they drew closer to discovery, and the adventure was just unrolling beneath their feet. What stories of divine connection and love would unfold as they reached out to heal? The air outside felt different, electric with possibility. Mary stepped forward, her heart racing, the sounds of the city swirling around them. They walked as one, a unified front, each step a declaration of their purpose. The sun warmed their backs, highlighting the path as if nature itself was cheering them on. As they approached the shelter, the chatter began to fade, replaced by the gentle hum of anticipation. This was where they would weave their first threads of connection, a moment in time that could change everything. Thoughts of the individuals waiting inside filled Mary's mind. The faces of those who might feel unseen or unheard danced vividly before her eyes. They reached the entrance, and with a shared glance of solidarity, Mary gently pushed the door open. A rush of warmth and happy voices greeted them. Inside, a harmonious chaos unfolded, volunteers bustling with pots and pans, laughter ringing out as stories were exchanged. The group dove into action, just as they had envisioned. Mary and a few others set up a table for the meal preparation. She carefully unfolded a large cloth, revealing an array of ingredients. Onions, carrots, potatoes, simple treasures worthy of reverence. As they began to chop, she encouraged them to share what they were feeling, thoughts flying around like playful butterflies. Each cut is a prayer. One person shouted, joy bubbling in their voice. Exactly. Mary exclaimed, her heart swelling. We're not just cooking, we're creating an atmosphere of love. Laughter spilled from them like a river. They were more than just a team, they were a family united in a mission forged from compassion. As the ingredients transformed into a rich stew, simmering over the flame, Mary couldn't help but picture the joy on the faces. They were cooking for the warmth of shared moments they'd create together. While they stirred and mixed, a quiet moment broke out amidst the joyful clamor. Mary paused, letting her gaze drift around the room. She noticed a young girl sitting alone at a corner table, her eyes downcast, the shadows of doubt looming large. That child, the one with the red scarf, Mary whispered to her friends. She seems so alone. Can someone reach out to her? A gentle-hearted volunteer stepped forward, encouraged by Mary's observations. Soon, laughter and conversation circled around the girl. As they included her, Mary recalled the power of connection, the gift of simply being seen, of being heard. Adorned with the warmth of hospitality, the atmosphere in the shelter began to shift. The warmth of the food was matched only by the warmth of love that filled the air. They served the meals, each bowl of stew a vessel of hope, a reminder that someone cared deeply. It was more than nourishment for the body, it was nourishment for the soul. People began to share stories, some joyous, others heart-wrenching. Mary listened as a weary soul spoke of his struggles, hope shining like faint light through the cracks of hesitation. Here, they experienced the beauty of vulnerability. With each story shared, each tear shed, the bond between them grew stronger, woven in shared humanity. Later, as the dishes piled high and the last spoonfuls of the meal were consumed, Mary stepped aside to a quieter corner. With grateful eyes, she watched the interactions unfold, the smiles, the laughter, the connection sprouted from a seed of love they had planted. But even in this oasis of joy, doubt crept back into her heart. Would this be enough? After all, they couldn't change the world overnight. Yet, she felt a whisper in the wind, a promise echoing softly within her spirit. Mary, remember, it seemed to say, miracles often blossom from the tiniest gestures. You are a vessel of light in this journey. Keep believing. Taking a deep breath, she returned to her friends, filled with renewed conviction. Together, they would navigate these uncharted waters, their hearts molded by the love they exuded. As they began to clean up, something compelled her to glance out the window. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of gold and lavender. An overwhelming sense of purpose washed over her as hope filled her once more. In that moment, she realized that they were not just passing through, they were planting seeds of divine possibility. As they left the shelter that evening, hearts singing and spirits high, Mary pondered how much they had seen and felt in just one day. But what awaited them next? Would they fully embrace the path laid before them, confident in the unfolding of their mission? The answer brewed before them, shimmering like the sunset. And deep within Mary's soul, a question stirred, a question that would frame their journey ahead. What would their next step reveal in God's intricate plan? As they walked along cobbled streets bathed in the warm glow of twilight, Mary felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The laughter from the shelter still echoed in her ears, a reminder of the connections they had built. Yet, an inner voice urged her to look deeper, to seek the hidden truths beneath the surface. What's next, God? She whispered under her breath. What do you want from us? Her friends chatted animatedly around her, but she felt a holy hush settle over her heart. Just a few blocks from the shelter, they came upon a small park illuminated by soft lantern light. The trees swayed gently in the evening breeze, as if to signal an invitation for quiet reflection. Guided by an unseen hand, Mary suggested they take a seat on a weathered bench. As they settled in, Mary looked at her companions, their faces aglow with hope and fatigue. "Let us take a moment to share our thoughts," she proposed. "What did today mean for you?" One by one, they opened up, voices weaving together a tapestry of dreams and fears. Someone spoke of feeling unworthy, another shared a longing for purpose. Each story was a revelation, a peek into the soul's desires. Every moment we shared today was a glimpse of God at work, wasn't He it? Mary marveled, her heart swelling with empathy. Even in their stories of struggle, I felt His presence among us. A sudden rustle of leaves caught their attention. A bird flew overhead, a nightingale perhaps, singing a gentle melody. Its song resonated deep within Mary, amplifying the profound sense of connection they had fostered over the course of the day. "Just like that bird," she said, "we are called to soar. We're meant to uplift others, to guide them out of their shadows." As she spoke, an unexpected chill wrapped around them, numbing the air. Her friends fell silent, captivated by the weight of what she shared. "Mary," a voice broke through, rich with wonder, "what if today was just the beginning? What if we're part of something much bigger, a divine timeline?" The air seemed to shimmer with possibility, illuminating their shared vision. Mary felt a tingling warmth radiate through her, a divine affirmation that they were exactly where they needed to be. She could almost see the threads of their lives weaving into a beautiful tapestry, stories connected by God's grace. "We've witnessed the beauty of kindness," Mary said slowly, trying to grasp the depth of this realization. "But it's crucial to remember that it's not just about one day. We're called to keep this momentum alive." The sunlight began to fade, the first stars twinkling above as if angels joined their gathering. The atmosphere pulsed with potential. "Let us make a commitment," Mary suggested, a fiery passion igniting within her. "Let us dedicate the next week to finding ways to spread what we've felt. Each day, let us reach out, amplify our experiences, and discover divine encounters in the ordinary." Excited murmurs cascaded among her friends as they began to brainstorm ideas, their energy mirroring the vibrant interplay of colors in the sky above. They spoke of small acts of kindness, community outreach, and fostering inclusive conversations with those around them. But just as their enthusiasm sparked like a fire, a thought pierced through Mary's mind, heavy yet illuminating. What if the greatest challenges lie ahead? What if we face rejection or despair? Within that moment of doubt, she remembered her own vulnerability. "Hear us the truth," she breathed, gathering her friends' attention again. "Every challenge will be an opportunity. It will be our faith that propels us." As they finished their discussions, Mary sensed something powerful was shifting within her. She understood now that they were embarking on a journey unlike any other, a calling that would require not just their hands but their hearts. With hearts newly ignited, they each took a moment to reflect individually, closing their eyes and opening their souls to the divine guidance that had surely led them here. "Let us embrace whatever comes," Mary whispered again, a prayer on her lips. "For we trust this journey is unfolding according to His plan." But as her spirit soared with expectation, a deeper question lingered in her heart. What would be the first sign of change, the first miracle in this unfolding story? What awaited them when they stepped boldly into the unknown path ahead? As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting hues of orange and purple across the sky, Mary and her friends felt an undeniable shift in the atmosphere. They had set their intentions, and though uncertainty still loomed, the loving connection they had found in their shared journey became a mighty anchor within their hearts. With determination, they gathered at St. Michael's Chapel the next day, an emblem of their renewed commitment. This sacred place had witnessed their fears and hopes. It felt like a hallowed ground where miracles bloomed with each act of love demonstrated beyond its walls. Mary stood at the front, looking around at familiar faces beaming with excitement. "Let us bring our dreams into action," she exclaimed. "Each day will be an opportunity and adventure waiting to unfold." A flurry of ideas erupted. They decided to dedicate the week to acts of kindness as a way to harness the transformative energy that pulsed in their community. With a shared commitment, they broke off into small teams, ready to spread hope and joy to those around them. For the next several days, laughter rang through the streets of Meadowfield. They baked pastries for the elderly, organized a neighborhood cleanup, and spent time listening to stories from people they had never met. Each day revealed the sweetness of connection, and the children's laughter was like ringing bells, a glorious symphony echoing their shared mission. Mary found herself drawn back to the shelter where it all began. She stepped inside, her heart racing with anticipation. The familiar scent of stew simmered in the air as the bright smiles of staff greeted her. They welcomed her not just as a volunteer, but as a treasured part of their family, a living testament to hope. However, it was during one of her visits that a profound moment occurred. She noticed the young girl with the red scarf who had seemed so alone. This time, the girl's face was brightened with laughter, surrounded by new friends they had made in the community. Their eyes twinkled with joy, and Mary felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. A miracle unfolded as the girl found her voice, her laughter now dancing freely in the air, joining in the chorus of love they all created. "Thank you for bringing me here," the girl said shyly, wrapping her arms around Mary. At that moment, Mary understood she had not just touched the girl's life, the girl had forever transformed Mary's heart. But as they ventured further into their mission of love, doubts crept in like shadows again. One evening, as they gathered at the chapel to reflect, Mary couldn't shake the lingering question: were they truly making a difference? Would their efforts sustain beyond fleeting moments? In that vulnerable space, they held hands, exchanging fears as much as hopes. Just as doubt threatened to dim their light, a gentle breeze swept through the chapel, like a soft whisper from heaven. Mary felt the air shift, filled with promise and peace. A voice broke through the silence. A new parishioner who had been in attendance for just a few weeks stood up. "I've watched you all," she began, her voice trembling yet resolute. "What you're doing is changing lives, including my own. I came here burdened and drifting. I felt invisible until you reached out, until your kindness became my lifeline." Tears glistened in Mary's eyes as the woman continued. "Every moment of love you share ripples outward, igniting hope in hearts unseen. Your efforts matter, they're weaving a tapestry of transformation. We are all witnesses to this beautiful unfolding." Within the room, a palpable wave of connection surged as her words washed over them all. The vulnerabilities that once hovered over them were lifted, replaced by a crystal-clear belief in their mission. They were not just participants, they were bearers of light in a world longing for it. The next evening, with newfound energy, they headed to the shelter once again. Each of them felt propelled by faith, fueled by the unmistakable truth that they were instruments of God's divine love. Together, they prepared a feast and invited more community members. The kitchen buzzed with laughter as they cooked, and when it was time to serve, they welcomed everyone with open arms, each plate a testament to compassion. As they gathered around to break bread together, Mary marveled at the beauty unfolding before her. The room filled with stories, some joyous, some heartbreaking, all woven together by the common thread of humanity. Feelings of togetherness engulfed them, love was palpable, the air thick with blessings. And just then, following a moment of shared silence, a familiar voice echoed through the warmth. Its presence sparked within her a melodic harmony that carried the whispers of heaven. "Thank you, God, for the divine connections woven in this very moment," Mary breathed softly, looking around. "We are humbled and grateful." Tears brimmed in her eyes as she watched hearts illuminate the room, uniting in prayer. At that moment, it became clear their actions were igniting a chain reaction, where love flourished beyond their own understanding. And it was happening for all of them. As they stepped out into the cool night air, tired yet lifted, Mary felt a profound shift within her heart. She knew this was not just a mission, but a sacred journey as they embraced the divine timeline God had laid out for them. Together, they were unraveling new paths, an adventure of faith that would continue to transform lives, beginning with their own. Now, dear friends, this is your moment to join the journey. Subscribe immediately to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive tales of faith and transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support matters more than you know. Comment below your reactions and testimonies about this beautiful ending and, most importantly, share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this divine manifestation. Get involved, and together, let us spread hope and love. There's a world waiting to be touched. Don't wait even one more second.